If you're an SDR, you now know that we are in event season, and events are a great place to build networking, pipeline, book meetings, and I've been working with a couple of SDRs the past few weeks who've had some success, and I wanted to share some tips to help you out with your networking events and booking those meetings. So a hot topic for a lot of SDRs that I'm coaching at the moment is events, and one of the SDRs that I've been working with was able to book that C-level decision maker at the event, and he was also invited as a podcast speaker on an industry podcast, which is obviously going to be helping out his personal brand and a nice post to put out on LinkedIn. But here are some strategies that we've learned that really works when it comes to events. Okay, so let's think about the pre-event game plan. And this is something you want to be doing at least 2 weeks minimum before the actual event. Now, we all know that we're going to get delegate lists with a bunch of emails, addresses, and we're going to be sending out loads of emails saying, hey, we see that you're at this event. It'd be lovely to talk to you about this. We're going to be at... and everybody's going to get those. And what's probably going to happen is that these are either going to end up in spam or get ghosted because they're going to get bombarded with every other salesperson doing that. But what we like to do instead is send a connection request on LinkedIn and just say, hey, I see that you're at this event. It would be great to bump into you. There is no ask and it's non-salesy and it's just a nice touch point to build up a little bit of familiarity. Then what we do the day before the event, we send another LinkedIn DM, very casual, saying, hey, look forward to seeing you at the event and look out for me. I'm wearing, I don't know, some sort of cool clobber pink t-shirt, so they'll recognize you when they're actually at the event. And then what we also want to do is be the helpful insider. So if you want to create a LinkedIn post, rather than saying, hey, we're at this event, come meet us at booth, maybe give them some tips for the people that have never attended this event. So travel hacks, what key sessions to be looking for, or, what advice would you give to recharge when you're at an event? And then towards the bottom of the post, you can put the PS, we're going to be at booth number XYZ and come chat to us if you're interested in this topic. Okay, so we're now actually at the event, and here are a couple of things that we can do to try and bring in that meeting or that discussion. So again, we could use LinkedIn and send a casual DM and just saying, hey, at the event, are there any sessions that you would recommend? Allow them to reply, or they may just say, we're having a look around, and say, cool. Here's a couple that I'm going to. It'd be nice maybe to catch up for a coffee. Okay, so they're now coming over to the booth and they're happy to have a chat. When we're thinking about how to win friends and influence people, it's always nice to make a compliment. So if they're wearing a snazzy shirt or perhaps they picked up some really cool swag, ask them, hey, that's really cool. Where did you get that from? And from that point, you can then ask a follow-up question. So what's brought you to the event today? Are there any key sessions that you're looking forward to? And do you have any advice for coming to these type of events? Normally, when you start off a conversation like this, it naturally then leads into them asking, so what is it that you do? And most salespeople will actually then go into full pitch mode about their solution, their products, and why they're so cool. But instead, it's better to lead with the problems that you solve. So it could be, hey, sales reps always need that extra bit of advice, but the manager's always too busy. Yes. Or perhaps you've got some ideas that you want to put across, but you're not sure if it's going to work and you'd like a little bit of a sounding board. Yeah, that's what we fix. Do any of those problems sound familiar? And if they then agree, said, yeah, totally does. That's when you can go in the introduction of what your company does and how you help people. Now, we're coming to the end of the conversation and they then agree to have a follow-up meeting with you. This is how you can make it memorable. Just say, hey, I'm taking some pictures of the event to kind of create some content on LinkedIn, or what I'd like to do with all of my people that I'm speaking to is to take a selfie, and I'm happy to send this selfie on a LinkedIn DM, and I'll also put it into the email I'll follow up with so you remember who the hell I am, because you're probably going to be hit with a load of emails. The other tip is you're going to be speaking to a lot of people all day long, and it's not natural or normal to be speaking to hundreds of people. So another tip is always take some time to recharge. If that's you stepping out of the event to grab 5 minutes of fresh air, listen to a favorite song, and just have some solitude will really help you charge up and make sure that you don't burn out. Okay, so the last one is post-event, and it's always important on the follow-ups. So the first thing that I like to do is to send that selfie on a LinkedIn DM and let them remember who you are, and then also put in there that you're going to be following up in an email shortly and to look out for the email with the same picture. Again, to bring that familiarity, because they're going to be speaking to lots of people day in, and this is what helps you stand out. And then I like to think about sales sequences. So I normally have about 2 to 3 sales sequences. So the first one is the person I actually met and they've agreed to have a discussion. Within that sequence or email, it's having a recap of what you've discussed, perhaps the selfie, and then a call to action. Perhaps you've missed them and you didn't get to meet them. Then we have another sequence where there was interest but didn't get to meet. What you'd like to do is give 3 value props as to what you guys do and why you think you should be meeting with that person, and perhaps give them a free lead magnet to help them learn something without having to sign a sales order. And the last sequence could be the people you were interested in but didn't get to meet, didn't speak, and you didn't know really where you stand with them. Again, send out another email in a sequence which advises what you were doing at the event, your 3 value props, and perhaps add in that free lead magnet if they wish to continue the conversation. Events are a gold mine for building your network, finding connections, booking meetings, and building pipeline, and really bringing about meaningful connections on a face-to-face sort of level. But I'm curious to know, what sort of tips would you give to sales reps that are attending events to make the most out of them? Let me know in the comments below.